You're listening to the Plane Talking UK podcast, the UK-based podcast written by a passenger for anyone. And here are your hosts, Carl Stebbings and Matt Smith.
Well, hello, good morning, and welcome to episode number 123 of the Plane Talking UK podcast. I'm Carl Stebbings, and joining me, as always, in the kitchen studio this week is my co-host Matt. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
Good morning. Yes, I'm a little bit dazed this morning. I don't know quite why we're running so late, but anyway,
only 20 minutes late.
Only 20 minutes late. He says
just adjusting his camera.
Yes, hello. Yes, I should have done that while it wasn't live. Yes, good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, the 30th of July, 2016, and it's just gone 20 past 10.
It has, yeah. And we are here on this gloriously weather-filled day of
it's a day full of
overcastness.
Yes, absolutely.
Considering we've had some really nice weather the last few days, so it's been quite nice. But for definitely for flying, I know Stuart has been quite busy this week with the parachute plane, and there was even people flying out of the plane, jumping out of the plane last Sunday as well.
Really? Blimey. I know he's been dive bombing our yard at work most of the time. Honestly, it looks like he's going to sort of crash into the yard every time he does that.
He is one heck of a pilot. We're going to get him on the show at some point. He's a
frightening pilot.
He's a frightening man to get hold of.
Well, yes, he's very busy.
He's very busy.
With running a very, very successful local restaurant along with his lovely wife, and yes, it's all busy times, really busy times.
So we've got loads of people in the chat room this morning. Morning all to you in there. We've got David Corson's in there, main man Micah, Neville Bounds, David Abbey's in there, or Dave Abbey. Good morning to you. Fattest bloke is in there. Paul Tricker. Who else have we got just scrolling up to the top?
Mr. Hunt has just joined us as well.
Oh, we've got another one. Who's that? Mr. Hunt. Where's
you
that
know
one
who
there?
Mr. Hunt is.
Oh, yes. Hello, Stuart. How are you?
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Good
another
morning.
Stuart. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so hello to everyone in the chat room for joining us this morning.
I swear Micah doesn't sleep.
No, I don't think Micah actually does sleep. Micah's one of these people who kind of
functions on nothing.
Has a kind of nuclear heart or something. He can carry on going forever and ever and ever.
Right, okay. Well, let's hope so. Yes,
good.
I hope that is the case.
So before we start the show, just a bit to a reminder for next Sunday, the 7th of August. It's going to be. They're going to have a meet-up over at Amsterdam at Schiphol Airport.
Amsterdam Schiphol. Yes.
Sorry, a bit of a Sean Connery thing going on there.
No.
At the Amsterdam Schiphol Airport next week with Masha and Stuart Backer as well, and Neville as well. I think Myla's going to be there as well. Yep. We had all the intention of going over, and we were going to go over, really.
Yes.
Had I found flights that didn't cost
£1
million. We searched quite extensively on the internet for flights to get over there for the day and to fly back on the same day. But when you can kind of fly to put it in easy terms, I could fly to Malta and back. For the same price.
Our guest from last week has just appeared in the chat room.
Really?
Yes,
hello.
Absolutely.
Oh, Kathy Mexton's in the chat room. Good morning to you, Kathy.
Indeed, absolutely. Still in the UK, I think.
She is, yeah. She's still in the UK, yeah. So we're not going to be able to make it across next Sunday, but for anyone who's listening who is in the Amsterdam Schiphol Airport area, next
morning
Sunday,
to Neil Townsend as well. Mr. Townsend's in the chat. Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Yes.
For any of you guys, listeners who are going to be in the area of next Sunday, please do know that those guys, awesome guys, are going to be there, and we're going to do we're doing something different next week.
Yes, the show is in 2 parts next week.
Yeah, we're going to do a 2-part show. We're going to do like a part 1 and part 2. So Saturday. We have got quite an interesting guest lined up for next Saturday's show, who's all to do with the passenger experience. He's quite he's had some really, really nice experiences with airlines. So he's coming on the show next week as a guest.
Adrian Meacham's just popped in the chat room.
Hello, Adrian. And we're going to do kind of a sort of a half a show Saturday, and then on Sunday. We are going to do kind of the second part of the show, but we're going to have a link up with the guys from Schiphol, and we're going to link up there. Hopefully, Neville is going to be able to do some technical wizardry with the Wi-Fi at Amsterdam, and we're going to link up with those guys, and we're going to do a kind of part 2 Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that should be good.
Yeah, so hopefully we can cover all bases. As I say, unfortunately, our guest's diary is very, very busy, which is why we've sort of had to do it that way. So,
this is literally the one date that our guest could do, so we had to snap,
in about the next
him
6 months, by the look of it.
Snap him up when we could, but it's going to be well worth the wait. He has, he's definitely we're not going to let too many cats out of the bag.
Okay.
I've done that earlier.
I don't know why you hide the guests.
I know.
But anyway,
I know.
there we are. Anyway, enough of this.
We're going to start the show then, as we do each week, with our rundown of the weekly news from around the world and the UK. So if you're ready, Matt.
Yes, I am ready.
Let's go. So, kicking off this week's first news story then on the Breaking Travel News site, this one. And some good news for Boeing, because at the moment they are posting some quite interesting stuff online about the 747, which may come to an end of production. Can't see that happening, but that's kind of what's going around. But anyway, Malaysia...
It's inevitable, Carlos. I mean, it's an old aircraft.
No, but they're still making the Dash 8.
Yeah.
So Malaysian Airlines have signed a $2.7 billion deal with Boeing for the 737 MAX.
Hello.
Something just fell over there in the kitchen somewhere. Don't know what that was.
Anyway, yes.
Anyway, Boeing and Malaysian Airlines have announced an order for 25 737 MAX 8 aircraft, valued at $2.75 billion at current list prices. The order, previously attributed to an unidentified customer on the Boeing Orders and Deliveries website, also includes purchase rights for an additional 737 MAX 8 and 737 MAX 9 aircraft. The deal is a game changer for Malaysian Airlines, which with much lower costs and greater efficiency, which will pass on to their customers with low fares, says the Malaysian Airlines Chief Executive Peter Blue. With the 737 MAX's longer range capabilities, they'll be able to connect the passengers to more destinations in greater comfort with superior economics. The Malaysian national carrier has operated almost every derivative of the 737 aircraft family and took delivery of its 100th 737 in December 2014. The 737 MAX will continue their superior operating economics and reliability that the 737 has given Malaysian Airlines, and they've depended on this aircraft for more than 40 years, says Dinesh Kesar, Senior Vice President.
Nice pronunciation. Very good.
So the 737 MAX will deliver 20% lower fuel costs than the first generation 737s, and the lowest operating fuel costs in its class. 8% less per seat than its nearest competitor, so they say. The new single-aisle aeroplane incorporates the latest technology, CFM International LEAP 1B engines, advanced technology winglets, and other improvements to deliver the highest efficiency, reliability, and passenger comfort in the single-aisle market. Now, this is quite good news. I mean, Malaysian Airlines have had a tough time in the past.
Not directly through their own doing, is it? It's just
but this is good that they've must be getting themselves back on their feet, and hopefully, they want some new aircraft.
I flew to New Zealand with Malaysian Airways, and it was an absolutely wonderful experience. I should just say a very good morning to Ray Davis. He's just joined us in the chat room.
Good morning, Ray.
A slightly unnerving conversation going on in the chat room, actually, about the meetup, and a little bit concerned about being escorted from the airport for unauthorised broadcasting, and possibly having to do the show from prison. So that would be nice.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, we don't mind that. That's good.
Absolutely.
That's
I don't mind where you do it from. Do you get Wi-Fi in prison?
Probably. You get everything else in prison.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Sky TV. Yeah, absolutely.
So moving on. Next story is for you, Matt.
Oh yes. Here we go. This is the trouble having. I always feel bad reading these out now. But anyway, this is on the Breaking Travel News website, and the headline is Ryanair to charge parents to sit with children. Here we go. Another PR disaster. From September, Ryanair will make it. I'm so sorry to my friend. From September, Ryanair will make it mandatory for adults travelling with children under 12 to purchase a reserved seat, but for those under 12 will receive free of charge reserved seating. Oh, I see. Right, so you've got okay, that's not so bad, but you've got to purchase a reserved seat. Ryanair is introducing this initiative after a busy summer when most of its flights were all full. As a result, many adults travelling with young children did not select reserved seats and accordingly were randomly allocated seats that were not together due to a large number of Ryanair customers who are already reserving their preferred seats. This caused boarding issues as crews tried to reseat customers with young children. Ryanair argues its crews cannot move customers who have already paid for their preferred seats simply to accommodate accommodate other customers who are travelling with young children who declined to reserve their seat and choose to have their seats randomly allocated. Ryanair Chief Marketing Officer Kenny Jacobs said that this will prevent other customers who have chosen to purchase a seat of their own from being displaced on board. Ryanair added in a statement that only one adult has to purchase a seat. Yeah, no, to be fair, in fairness to Ryanair, this is very, very sensible, I think.
Do you know, I have nothing against at all. I've been on quite a few flights, especially the longer distance flights that me and Gemma have done in the years. You know, and if you get families with children, especially small children, and they're kind of, for some bizarre reason, displaced on the aircraft, so they're not sitting together. Absolutely. I've got no issues against moving to allow families to sit together.
No, but you do now have an issue essentially where people are paying for reserved seating, and it's the people who have paid for the reserved seating, so they've paid for that extra so that they can sit next to their partner, or they can
possibly a more leg room.
Well, absolutely, and they've chosen a seat specifically, so they can move to, and then those that have bought a reserved seat are then having to move because someone else didn't. And quite rightly, they want to put, obviously, young families and their parents together, and that's perfectly understandable. But I think I'm a little bit surprised that if you've got small children, you haven't done this automatically.
Yes, yeah, that is.
Can you see what I'm getting at? So actually, no, I'm with Ryanair on this one. I'm sorry.
With small, when you've got a family with small children, and you're booking flights online as a parent, I would spend that extra, whatever it is. I don't know what the price is now, but to reserve a seat with Ryanair or EasyJet or something, I'd pay that little bit extra to make sure all my family was sitting together.
Quite rightly, yeah. Because I mean, a lot. It is the flight out there is a major part of the experience, isn't it? Where you're all sat together and you're all having sort of gin and tonics in the air and all this kind of thing. What are you laughing at?
Oh, Jacob Darlington Brown in the chat rooms has put, as a parent with a kid, I agree. A section in the back of the aircraft just for parents with kids would be a great idea. That'd be good. Yeah, like a little a sectioned off area with a creche and and like a ball pit.
Right. Okay. I can't see the lower cost airlines perhaps being quite so willing to participate in that expensive exercise. But
obviously, this section would also be soundproofed.
Right. Yeah. For the sake of the rest of the passengers, no. So actually, as I say, I'm with Ryanair on this one.
Next news then on the Breaking Travel News site again. Singapore Airlines signs UK partnership deal with Flybe. So Singapore Airlines is vastly increasing its accessibility to the UK consumers with the announcement of a new partnership with top UK regional airline Flybe. Ooh. The exciting collaboration means that over 100 Singapore Airlines destinations across Southeast Asia and Australasia are now more accessible than ever for UK customers. Customers from 19 UK towns and cities are now able to book to fly with Singapore Airlines long haul to also include Flybe connections departing from their local airports. From the UK, Singapore Airlines currently flies 4 times a day from London Heathrow and daily from Manchester to Singapore for onward connections. Beginning October the 30th this year, however, available destinations from Manchester will increase beyond connections to Asia and Australasia to include the United States, and the airline will launch its first ever transatlantic route from the UK to Manchester to Houston to complement the long-standing Manchester-Singapore flight. The new Flybe partnership opens up additional connections via Amsterdam, Paris, Charles de Gaulle and Dusseldorf, with several of the cities now available to connect to Singapore Airlines' vast array of destinations for the first time. This collaboration builds on efforts to find new ways for UK customers to access our flights closer from home, adding to the coach fly and rail fly partnerships we pioneered in recent years. And this is from Sheldon He, a Singapore Airlines General Manager. So moving forward, we aim to continue to provide ever more convenient options for our customers to fly with Singapore Airlines and to experience our multi-award-winning service. And I think they came in our top. We've done the top 10 at Farnborough. I think Singapore were in the top 5, weren't they, of airlines? Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm brave enough to read out Micah's tweet.
Micah, what's Micah written now?
He says, why can fly with Flybe? If there's no Singapore girls, what's the point in flying with Singapore at all?
And Neville's put fly maybe.
Fly maybe. I'm sure that's not fair.
Paul Trick has found the video of us singing at the Farnborough meetup. But we'll save that one for later.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
So that's good news then, especially for Flybe.
So this is essentially a sort of a co-chair, is it? that sort of thing.
code share kind of thing. It's a way of coming from the UK and picking up a Singapore Airlines flight all in one package.
Right, one neat little package. Okay, next story looks quite interesting. It has
Tech
to be
news,
said.
tech
News.
news.
Yes, this is on the Breaking Travel News website, which I think we're sponsored by the look of it today. The London City Airport this is the headline. London City Airport. Put me to it's the omelette. I'm sorry. It was a monster. London City Airport introduces flight information to Facebook Messenger. Now this is an unusual twist. London City Airport has become the first UK airport to enable customers to use Facebook Messenger to find out the latest real-time information about their flight. I'm not even sure how that would work. I thought Messenger was a... Anyway, following a short trial period from today, any passenger who has Facebook Messenger on their device can send their flight number on the day of travel to LCY Flight Info Facebook page and receive personalised flight information. That's very, very cool. The automated messages provide up-to-the-minute information on flight status, including departure and arrival time and boarding gate numbers, removing the need to constantly check flight information screens. Both departing passengers and those waiting for passengers to arrive can get the information relevant to them. The new Facebook Messenger functionality coincides with the latest passenger analysis for the first quarter of 2016, which found that for the first time ever, the proportion of under 35 passengers reached 35% at London City Airport. It is expected that millennial travellers will be among the first to use this service. Alison Fitzgerald, who is the Chief Information Officer at London City Airport, said the majority of our passengers are connected to social media and many of these are business travellers, so it makes perfect sense to offer flight updates directly to their smartphones via Facebook Messenger. We already offer free Wi-Fi and a check-in time of 20 minutes or less, and this is another way of ensuring a hassle-free, personalised customer experience. This is really cool.
I like that. Social media is becoming such a huge part of flying now.
Yeah, absolutely. But the great thing is, of course, again, and we were talking about it at the start of the podcast, because as I say, some of us for the first time got a push notification from YouTube when we started broadcasting. And so, obviously, if you've got a flight information that's gone into Facebook Messenger, you'll get a ping you'll get a ping message if your details change or when your gate number, so I mean, especially like for me where I've got my smartwatch.
Oh, you've got your smartwatch, yeah.
And I can actually bring it up on my watch without even getting my phone out of my pocket. I mean, it's brilliant. I like it. I'm all for that. Very good. Yeah.
Where can I go from here, though? You've got to think, what's next? They've used Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
They've used Twitter, as I think Mash has put in there that they do a similar service on Twitter.
Works pretty well.
What is there left? Instagram?
What the point of that? What, the photograph of your plane before you? Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
No.
The airline could post. The airline could post a photo of your aircraft. So at least then, that's definitely the aircraft I'm travelling on this morning.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah, here we go.
Right,
Jacob Darlington Brown has just saw the video. Carlos, you have missed your calling. Frank Sinatra, eat your heart out. The new king of swing has arrived.
Oh, dear.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
couldn't agree more there,
Thank
guys.
you for that, Paul. Very good, very good.
Indeed. On to the next story.
This is the last one we've got on the Breaking Travel News site.
Is it?
I think so.
No, it's not. No, I can see one more. Yeah.
Okay, so London City Airport given the go-ahead for expansion. So London City Airport has this week received planning permission for expansion from the UK government, which will enable the airport to welcome 6.5 million passengers by 2025 and inject £1.5 billion each year into the economy. The City Airport Development Programme is a £344 million privately funded investment, which includes plans for 7 new aircraft stands, a parallel taxiway and passenger terminal extension. The development will transform the airport, one of East London's largest employers in the London Royal Docks, enabling the airport to welcome quieter next-generation aircraft and add more capacity. Last year, the airport, which opened in 1987, welcomed a record-breaking 4.3 million passengers through the doors. UK Chancellor Philip Hammond and Aviation Minister Lord Ahmad confirmed the government's approval during a visit to the airport. The move follows confirmation from Transport Secretary Chris Grayling and Community Secretary Sahid Jahid. Declan Collier, Chief Executive London City Airport, said this week that the new government has shown it's already to act in the best interests of the British economy. Expansion at London City Airport is going to create more than 2,000 jobs in East London and add a much-needed aviation capacity in the South East and generate an additional £750 million per year for the UK economy. The construction phase of development will create 500 jobs and a further 1,600 jobs once completed. Under the plans, the airport can approximately accommodate a further 32,000 flights by 2025. Movements which are already permitted, and they're going to help to unlock more capacity within London's airport system in advance of any new runway for the south east of England, which we're never going to get a new runway anywhere else.
No.
So that's good news for London City Airport.
I must admit, when because
you've been there, I haven't been.
Yeah,
there.
no, I was there with. I was actually at XL. I think was it XL. Anyway, I'd gone to a pet show and stuff, and I actually stayed the night in a hotel right near London City, and I was amazed at how busy it was. I mean, well, in fact, our little aviation news stinger was one of many little videos that I showed you, didn't I? When I came back. That were just, I mean, it was just such a busy little airport, really. I mean, but then I suppose if it's got 4.3 million passengers using it every year, it's, it's got to have quite a lot of flights going in and out.
If you ever see Google Maps and you look at the airport from above with Google Maps, it doesn't look that big. It does not
really
look that big.
No, it really isn't. If you've ever been on the Emirates Air as well, the one that goes from, I'm not quite sure where it terminates, but I know it starts at Greenwich, where the Neville
will probably know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Neville, correct me in a minute.
Yeah,
you can sort of, and of course the great thing, and you would love it because if you time it right. I mean, I didn't have my phone up and running, unfortunately, because I was literally going over the Thames as something was taking off, and I was like literally looking right underneath it. And if I'd have got my phone up and running quick enough, that would have been an incredible video. But I didn't, so there we are. That was rubbish.
Yeah, it's a good place to go if you're RJ146 lover, or the BAE 146 lover. They fly into there.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So next story,
yes,
different site this time.
Yes, okay. This is jet2.com is the website, and the headline is jet2.com is the UK's best airline, says TripAdvisor
Now, this
users.
follows on from a story we had a few weeks ago, didn't it?
Right,
because we were talking about TripAdvisor having. I think we had this at the Farnborough, the special we done
like the
there.
top. No,
it
not
was
top
no,
10.
it was the story about TripAdvisor having because TripAdvisor does the hotel thing, and they're going to do the airline thing.
Are they?
Is, which will be quite interesting too.
I remember you saying that. I'm sorry,
yeah.
I'm having. I was a bit distracted by your machine making a weird pingy noise.
Which machine?
Or somebody's machine making a pingy noise. Anyway, by the by. So yes, the headline is Jet2 is the start again. So Jet2.com and Jet2.com is the UK's best airline, says TripAdvisor users. Jet2.com is the UK's best airline, says the millions of users of the travel review site TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor recently launched a new airlines review service which measures feedback from 350 million users. Wow, that's a big number. With flight reviews from 48 countries in 29 languages covering every major carrier worldwide. Based on these reviews, Jet2.com is the UK's best airline and 10th best in the world. No other British airline even makes the list. Now that's very bad
surprising.
news for
very
the likes
surprising.
of British Airways and things like that,
Yeah.
isn't it? The review service shows that Jet2.com scores particularly well for customer service, cleanliness, value for money, check-in, boarding, and its generous 22-kilogram baggage allowance. That's not a bad allowance, actually, is it, in this day and age? The top 16 airlines in the world all received an average rating of 4.5 stars and were then ranked based on the highest percentage of 5-star reviews. The best airlines are as follows. So we'll do it in a little 16. So we'll start at number 16.
Yeah, we'll start. Do you want me to start? We'll do one each, shall we? So,
Yeah, we'll start at the bottom and work up, I think. So, yeah, number 16 is TAM.
TAM's the Brazilian airline.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
TAM is Brazilian. LATAM, Brazilian Airlines,
right.
yeah.
Okay, number 15.
Number 15 is Avianca.
Right.
And Avianca, blimey, I should know my airlines, really, shouldn't I?
You should, yes.
Avianca is the
okay.
airline of Colombia. They're headquartered in Bogota, Colombia.
Excellent. Number 14 is Thai Smile.
Thai Smile, I think that's a low-cost subsidiary of Thai Airlines,
Okay,
obviously
yeah.
Thailand.
Yeah. Number 13.
Aegean.
Ooh.
I think Aegean is a Greek. It's based in Athens in Greece.
Right, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Number 12 is Garuda.
Garuda
Airline.
Garuda.
Don't know that one. You're going to look it up for me now.
Garuda. Here we go. Garuda is Indonesian.
Oh, cool.
An Indonesian
Okay, so that's
airline.
at number 12.
Number 12.
Number 11 is ANA.
It's Al Nippon Airways.
Ah, yes.
We all know who Al Nippon Airways is.
We do indeed.
So at number 10 is, Jet2.
Jet2, yeah, absolutely.
Jet2.
So it is literally just in the top 10, but it is in the top 10 nonetheless. Number 9 is Azul Airlines.
Is another Brazilian.
Another Brazilian.
Another
okay.
Brazilian
Yeah,
airline.
they feature quite
Azul
well,
Airlines.
haven't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Number 8
is Japan Airlines.
Right,
JAL,
cool.
Japan
Lovely.
Airlines.
Okay.
Now this is a weird one to have in here, in top ranking here. This is number 7.
Yeah.
This is Aeroflot.
Mm.
Now they're the Russian state airline. Aeroflot's a Russian airline.
That's
so
good.
I think they've pulled things around quite a lot.
Is that because they're too terrified to say anything but nice things about
Well,
it if
actually,
it's the
I
Russian
think-
national
I think
carrier?
that might have something to do with the fact that Aeroflot are kind of buying loads of Western-built aircraft now, Boeing and
right.
stuff, and Airbus and stuff. So they're replacing a lot of their aging fleet of aircraft.
Yeah. Number 6 is
JetBlue. We all
Yeah.
know who JetBlue is, and number 5 is Qatar Airways or Qatar Airways.
Oh no. Number 4 is Southwest.
Southwest, we all know Southwest. That's based over in America there, Southwest. Number 3 is an airline that have just recently brought out a really awesome in-flight safety video.
Oh, right.
It is
yeah.
so cool.
They're quite famous for that, aren't they? They do them all the time,
Matt,
don't
you
they?
have got to get on YouTube and
Okay.
watch the video.
All right,
You will
I'll have a look.
scream. So
Yeah.
Air New Zealand.
Yeah. Number 2 is Singapore Airlines.
And number 1...
Is not a surprise.
And number 1 is
Yeah, I
no
don't
surprise.
think-
Number
no,
1, for those of
absolutely.
you who watched the Farnborough show we done, number 1, this came up top on that
on that
one
list
we
as
do.
well, didn't it?
Yeah, and it's
absolutely.
Emirates.
It is Emirates,
Airlines.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. Emirates is a great airline. But anyway, well done to Jet2 for actually making it into a top 10 list.
Yes, well done for
Yeah,
Emirates.
especially official one, because as I say, like with TripAdvisor, you're inclined to sort of more believe because it is literally voted for by the people.
Someone who uses it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you use an airline, you think they're rubbish, then you go on TripAdvisor and say, well, they're rubbish.
I mean, having said that, you do have to take with a little pinch of salt some of the reviews that people make on, like in hotels and stuff. I mean, for example, when we went to Riyadh, didn't we? The little hotel that we stayed at. I mean, it wasn't perfect. There's no two ways about that.
It was an authentic coaching.
It was, yes, absolutely. And if it had been half the price, it would have been delightful.
Yes.
But I mean, some of the reviews on there were really unfairly scathing, weren't they? Particularly, although we were lucky to have a good.
But the
meal by
accommodation we had at the Premier Inn at Farnborough was
was
lovely.
a different world.
Anyone watching from Premier Inn,
absolutely,
great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me and Matt loved our stay there.
Where was it? It was just outside.
It was Aldershot.
Aldershot.
Yeah, Premier Inn
and
Aldershot, next door to Tesco's.
Yes.
So any promotions or anything, just send our way.
And even Captain Al, the king of food, was very impressed with the breakfast. So I mean, 10 out of 10 in the little beefeater next door. Yeah. Anyway, enough
Next
of our
story.
our promo.
Next story.
Free holidays, please.
So podcast at plaintalkinguk.com. And so the next story is on the Kiv ITV?
Kivi TV. Okay. It's ABC 6, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the headline...
American.
Especially for this story is especially for anyone who's lost luggage or has paid fees for luggage. So the headline, you won't have to pay baggage fees if an airline loses your luggage. So everyone hates checking in their bags at airports because the airlines are notoriously bad for losing the luggage. But soon, new rules which will require airlines to refund all your baggage fees if they lose your luggage.
Good. I can't believe this isn't standard practice.
So a new federal law requires the US Transportation Secretary to issue regulations on baggage fee refunds within this year. Under the new rules, passengers who don't have their bags returned within 12 hours of arrival of a domestic flight will get a refund on their fees. That time limit is extended to 15 hours for international flights. So at least it won't be like you're paid for the airline to lose your stuff. Baggage fees are actually quite a big earner for airlines. American Airlines over in the US brought in almost $900 million in revenue just from baggage fees last year.
Wow. That's a big number, isn't it? 9 million.
Wow.
Yes. But I wonder, I mean, what is the percentage of bags that are lost?
I don't know what the percentage for bags that are lost. I mean, I know Micah had an issue when he flew back. I think with a lost bag, but you said he got his bag back. I think. Didn't
yes, that's right. Yeah, no, he did eventually. As I say, but I don't think it arrived the same time he did. That's the trouble.
Mash is in the chat room. She's just put that she hasn't checked in luggage for years.
Yeah,
she's a hand luggage girl.
I must admit, we're the same. Whenever we go on holiday, we literally pack in. But we don't take deodorants or anything. We literally buy them like in the supermarket that's just up the road.
Next story is for you, Matt. I forgot who this story was about, but anyway, carry on.
Okay, right. I'm a bit nervous because it's got the headline of the Sun newspaper, which is always slightly unnerving. But so if it's in the Sun, it must be 100% accurate and true. So this is the Sun and the headline. So apologies for this because this is one of our most horrific tabloid newspapers in the UK. But the headline is PC World Trip. Woman accidentally leaves her laptop at Stansted Airport and now has to travel to Romania to collect it. So Ryanair flew Susan's lost laptop to Romania, and now she claims that they won't give it back. A woman who lost her laptop at Stansted Airport says Ryanair flew her device to Romania, and now they won't give it back. Susan Connolly, who lives in Cambridge, got a Ryanair plane from Dublin to London on April the 25th. The 31-year-old, who had put her laptop in an overhead locker because her seat was in the emergency exit row. Susan, who works as a writer, said that she realised she'd left it there when she was on a shuttle bus from the plane to the airport. But when she headed to a Ryanair check-in desk to ask for it back, she said they had said that they'd already checked the plane and there was no way to recheck it. When she thought her laptop, which has her work on it, including drafts of novels and scripts, was lost, she changed all her passwords. She said, then I got an email from Romania saying that they'd found my laptop because the plane I had got from Dublin to London had then gone on to Romania. Bucharest Airport said that they could send it back via Ryanair plane to Stansted, but I would have to give notice that I understood it might get damaged. The writer then gave them permission to send it back to her, but it's been 3 months now and she's still without her laptop. She called Bucharest Airport, who claimed that Ryanair refused to put the laptop on a plane or even post it to her. Frustrated, she said the only option I had was either to fly there myself or make a friend in Bucharest who I can nominate to go and pick up my laptop, which to me seems rather ridiculous. They know where it is, they know it's mine. I don't understand why they can't just arrange for me to get it back. If she decides to fly there herself, she faces forking out a couple of £100 for a return flight to get it back. After numerous calls to Ryanair, she has now taken to Twitter to publicise her complaint. Even her friends have contacted them on her behalf. Susan told The Sun something that has been lovely is that a large number of people have reached out to me as they will be travelling through Bucharest and want to help. Now,
God, come on! As the chat room quite rightly has just said, Jacobs has put on in the chat room that surely they can just stick it on a returning flight and bring it home. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
This is something that Ryanair could turn from something sort of bit, nasty into something marvellous, couldn't they? Look they sent my laptop back.
I'm just very. I'm sorry.
Shouldn't have lost it in the first place.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If it's that precious to you, then why on earth didn't you notice the fact that you were a bag light when you got it? I know we all make mistakes, but not when it comes to a laptop, surely.
I am pretty when it comes to putting stuff away.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
it could have been handled a bit better, I think, by the airline.
Yeah,
but there
possibly,
we go.
But then they shouldn't have lost it, so...
Okay. You're a bit mean today, man.
Yeah, I am.
You're having a mean day today.
Yeah, actually, Stuart's just said I can pick it up next week because he's going through there. He's going through Romania in a week's time, a couple of weeks' time.
Well, you'll have to contact her, Stuart.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I don't think she's short of assistance, but it's a bit strange. Yeah, I suppose they could just easily put it on a return flight and just sort of easily send it back. But I'm sorry, she shouldn't have left it behind in the first place. I'm sorry.
Okay, meanie.
Yeah.
Right. So next story is on the Mirror website, and
no, she hasn't got it back yet, according to the story.
No.
They're just saying in the chat room.
So the next story is on the Mirror website, and it has got pictures. So we're going to put those pictures on in a moment. The headline. This is this is a bit nasty.
It does look quite horrific.
Incredible scene.
Oh, good! Another excellent tabloid newspaper, the Mirror.
Incredible scene after plane propeller sliced through van driver's windshield on tarmac on an airport. So a white van was left with a crushed windshield and roof after it was struck by the Air Algérie ATR 72-500's propeller.
Oh dear.
It's far from the smartest place to leave a vehicle, quite rightly. The van suffered a crushed windshield and roof after being positioned in the path of an aircraft.
Well, that was silly.
The white vehicle was struck by the propeller of the aircraft, and which was left on the tarmac at an Algerian airport earlier this week. The photos we have show the scenes of a van sporting a badly damaged windshield with the propeller hanging just a few feet away from it. Stunned emergency crews and bystanders were seen taking photos of the smashed-up vehicle as they take in the bizarre sight. It's unclear whether the twin-engine turboprop plane was leaving or arriving at the airport when the crash occurred. It's also not known if the van was moving at the time. But one thing is certain, the driver, who remains unnamed, will think twice about where they position a vehicle in the future. Although it's not clear whether the driver was inside the van at the time, I hope not, it's reported that there were no injuries. The smash occurred at the Algiers Harari Boumediene International Airport,
very good, yes.
which is named after the country's former president, according to Air Live. Reports suggest the van driver did not respect the security distance. The ATR 72 is a short-haul regional aircraft that entered service in 1999.
See, I'm with Stuart on this one again. I'm sorry, it's typical white van man. Let's be honest.
Here we go. Let's put up the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's put that
go.
one up there. So for those of you watching,
on YouTube,
if not, then go to the Mirror website and search for "incredible scene after plane propeller." Okay, and you'll find that on the mirror.co.uk website. But yes, here we go. That is the picture there. That is a one messed up van, isn't it? But as I say, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with the white van, especially the TriStar van, which I have not had the pleasure of riding. I can't believe that Micah didn't have a ride.
Micah did.
Did he? Oh,
yeah,
did he?
Micah came in the TriStar van.
Oh, sorry, he says which I have not had the pleasure of riding in.
Yeah, Micah's been in the TriStar van.
Has he?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All
Him
right.
and Brian. I picked up Brian and Micah from their hotel in the TriStar van.
Did you? I'll get you.
There he goes.
Okay.
He's chatty again.
Yes, oh, right. Okay, that's all right. No, I had to double check. I thought I'd read it wrong.
No, Micah.
Well,
I had Micah, Brian, and also Captain Jeff.
Yeah,
has been in.
We
the
won't talk about
TriStar
where
van.
I was stuck, by the way.
No, at the time,
absolutely,
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was a bit warm when we got the other end. Let's put it that way. But yes, that's it's a strange place to park your van.
yeah,
do it
that's
to silly people.
You know, don't park your van in front of
I am
rotating
being really quite
propellers.
grumpy and mean
You are
today.
Mr. Grumpy today, Mr. Grumps.
I don't know what's going on.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
Next story is all yours, Matt.
Is it right? Okay. This is on. Oh, really?
Oh, sorry, isn't it?
Right, okay. So the belfastlive.co.uk. I'm so sorry to all of my friends. Belfast Live is the website, and the headline is Ryanair to hold another cabin crew recruitment day in Belfast. Successful candidates will have the opportunity to work in various airports across Europe. Irish airline Ryanair is to host a second recruitment day in Belfast next month. CrewLink, who organises the recruitment for the airline, said that they are continuing its major European recruitment drive in a bid to fill hundreds of cabin crew positions. Ryanair will host the recruitment day in Belfast next month on the 23rd of August, following one in the city earlier this month. For cabin crew positions, no previous experience is required. Applicants must be 18 years of age and apply, and it helps if you are hardworking, flexible, outgoing, and have a lively personality. Experience dealing with the public and ability to provide excellent customer services is a priority. Successful candidates will have the opportunity to work in various airports across Europe. CrewLink's head of recruitment, Niall Gleeson, said that we have recruited many candidates from the UK. We had a fantastic response in 2015, and we were extremely satisfied with the very high caliber of candidates we met. We are now returning to fill fill hundreds of positions. This is a fantastic opportunity to join a growing industry. We look forward to visiting the UK again. CrewLink has designed a unique 5 stages qualification to graduation process to provide cabin crew candidates with an enjoyable, highly specific training course over a 6-week period, so they can earn their wings to fly on board Ryanair aircraft. Potential candidates should register their interest on the CrewLink website at crewlink.ie or email recruit@crewlink.ie.
So more people to join Owen.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yes, I mean, as I say, we at Farnborough, we were lucky enough to have a chat with a very nice chap who has done exactly this.
And we've got that interview coming up, haven't we? At some
absolutely.
point in the future.
We're doing the RIAT interviews first,
RIAT
obviously.
first,
one of which will be playing out very shortly. But
next story, and this is a bit of a controversy now. Look, we're moving on. Breaking travel news again. Headline: EasyJet to recruit cabin crew across Europe.
Hello. So are they using the same company?
EasyJet have this week announced it's to recruit more than 1,200 new permanent and fixed-term cabin crew positions as the airline continues its growth. The carrier, which flies to more than 250 destinations or 250 aircraft on over 820 routes in 31 countries, will offer its new cabin crew positions across all of its 27 European bases. Around half of these positions will be based in the UK. New recruits will fly on a modern fleet of Airbus aircraft, and will join the airline at an existing time, as they'll have exact access as well to a number of rewards and high quality training and opportunities to career development. The news comes after EasyJet's announcement earlier this year that it was opening recruitment for more than 350 pilots.
Ooh.
Hello, David. Providing career opportunities for more than 150 of its current first officers to be promoted into captain positions. EasyJet currently employs over 5,500 cabin crew who are at the forefront of the airline's operations, ensuring the highest safety standards and that are met, providing friendly service for EasyJet's 70 million passengers every year.
Cool.
This is good news, really, for everyone in the UK. Really, who wants to become cabin crew.
Yeah,
it's not an easy task to get through.
No.
Don't think it's an easy thing
and
to get through. But
it's not glamorous at all, is it? I mean, you
no.
sort of think it's a really glamorous thing, but having had sort of a couple of chats, I mean, that was the great thing about meeting so many people who work in the industry at Farnborough. I mean, you sort of assume that the pilot life and the cabin crew life is one of glamour, where you're jetting off to these exotic locations, when in reality, half the time you never actually leave the aeroplane. You look at Rome through your window, and before you fly off somewhere else. But just to say, a very good morning in the chat room to his nickname is Mad Magma, but that is Mason. So very good morning, Mason. I hope you're enjoying the show. I think you're a sort of first-time victim to the Plain Talking UK podcast live event.
That's actually Ray Davis's
Yes,
son.
Indeed. Yes, no, I was reading that. Yes, but yes, as I say, so
well done.
Welcome to the madness, sir. Welcome to the madness.
So the last story is, which for Matt is a kind of a bit of a historic story, a bit of a history part. So this is on
the Motherboard website, which is slightly unnerving. It is the headline is "May we never forget the first jet liner." The De Havilland Comet. This is very exciting. Now, I can't play the video out because I will get told off by YouTube if I do. So if you want to have a look at this video, which is amazing, by the way, it's motherboard, as in like the computer motherboard. So motherboard.vice.com, motherboard.vice.com, and then search for first jetliner. You'll find the video. So on July the 27th, 1949, the world quite abruptly became a very small place. The new scale, which drew together cities and coastlines that had for millennia existed on basically separate planets, came courtesy of the de Havilland Comet, the very first commercial jet aircraft to enter production. With its pressurized cabin, it could travel as high as 42,000 feet and, courtesy of 4 turbojet engines offering 22,000 newtons of thrust each, it cruised at 460 miles per hour. The next best thing until the Comet arrived was the propeller-driven DC-3, which could hit 250 miles an hour at best. Air travel in its 1930s and 40s infancy was characterized by short but exhausting flights that took a long time relatively, and were frequently marred by gnarly weather characteristic of lower altitudes. At the time, jet engines were thought to be too inefficient and fuel-hungry and too unreliable to be seriously considered for commercial aviation. Nonetheless, Sir Geoffrey de Havilland whose company had gotten its start producing biplanes, took it as a challenge. In 1949, the de Havilland was awarded a contract from the UK government to design and produce a mail plane capable with a pressurized cabin, capable of transatlantic flight and cruising speeds of at least 400 miles an hour. In 1945, before a design team had even been formed at de Havilland, the British Overseas Airways Corporation made an order for 10 turbojet aircraft. The Comet began regular service in 1952, and by 1953, BOAC was flying 9 Comets per week from London to distant locales such as Tokyo, Singapore and Johannesburg. More airlines placed orders. Then it all went wrong, at least for a time. There were 2 fatal Comet accidents in 1953, one of which involved an aircraft disintegrating in mid-air while passing through a thunderstorm. In 1954, another Comet crashed after takeoff from Rome following an explosive decompression. The planes were grounded and several inquiries took place, with the major findings being that the aircraft's hull was too weak to deal with flight stresses that were still too poorly understood at the time of the plane's development. Many of the Comets were scrapped to be later replaced by a more robust version, the Comet 2. According to Comet, the world's first jetliner, the final Comet 4 left service in 1997. Oh, wow. Its operator then was the UK's Royal Aircraft Establishment, which used it to collect aeronautical data.
Yeah, the Comet was... there's actually one of these at Duxford, Matt. There's a Comet.
Yes.
There's a Comet 4, one of the later versions of the Comet 4 at Duxford. And the issues they had with this jet, Matt, when it was first, obviously, first flying, the first iteration of the Comet, was that de Havilland, when they built the aircraft, Matt, designed it with square windows.
Right. Okay.
And the issue it had with it breaking up in mid-air was caused on, I think, nearly all the crashes this had, was that, for the older ones, was that the fatigue cracks appeared at the corners of the windows. And the cracks, obviously, being pressurised all the time, the aircraft's going like this, and the cracks appeared, and obviously, in the end,
eventually it went.
It went.
Absolutely.
So they had to redesign and have what we now see as
oval
windows.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So no, just looking interestingly enough on the Wikipedia site here about the Comet.
Not always accurate.
Oh, well, it's fairly accurate. But back in 1952,
wow,
there was the Comet 1, which was initially started the Comet series. You could have these new. The unit costs were £275,000.
Wow,
it's just amazing how much.
Yeah, but that's old money. Of course.
That's 1952.
That was probably the equivalent of a good couple of hundred.
But not forgetting as well that the Royal Air Force, the RAF, used Comets as well.
Do they? What, even now?
No, they used to. They obviously retired a long while ago. The Royal Air Force used to use these, and also one of our now gone years ago airlines, Dan Air.
Yes.
Remember Dan Air?
Yeah.
Dan Air used
the only reason I know them is because obviously we saw one at the Norwich Aviation Museum.
Yes.
They had a very good example there that could still fly, wasn't it? It was the only example that could still fly.
Oh, that was I forget which one that was.
Not a Comet?
No, it wasn't a Comet. No,
right.
It would be nice if they had a Comet there.
Yeah. So anyway, the de Havilland Comet is it is the responsible for what we now know as commercial aviation, really, isn't it?
There's some of these, lots of these jotted around. There's one in Scotland at the East Fortune Museum in Scotland, and there's also one there's one obviously at Duxford at the Imperial War Museum at Duxford. There's also one Comet 4 on display at the Bruntingthorpe Aerodrome.
Okay, yeah.
According to this, and there's also one in Germany at the Flugstar. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong. My German's not that great. Flugausstellung Hermeskiel in Germany. Probably totally got that completely wrong, but there we go. So there are some of these to see. So there we are. That's our last story then for the commercial news segment on the show this week.
Okay. So before we step into the military, what we're going to do is we're going to take you back to Riyadh, which was a few weekends ago now. So it was the 8th to the 10th of July 2016. That was RAF Fairford, as you say at the start of every single interview you do. I don't know why. I'll shut up now.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is the second of four.
It is, yeah. It's the second of four. We've got another
yeah.
couple of interviews still to go. Yeah. And, so it's time to welcome to the fold, as it were, a lovely little interview by a lovely chap by the name of Toby Mercer. And he now flies, or he works, flies, is in the Army with the New Zealand Air Force. And he's talking about the Boeing 757.
So we're back again then for our second interview here at the Royal International Air Tattoo at RAF Fairford in Gloucestershire. And I'm standing next to one of my personal favourite aircraft in flying in the world currently. And I'm here with Toby Mercer. And Toby, what's your role in the Royal New Zealand Air Force?
So I'm a co-pilot for the Boeing 757. We work with 40 Squadron, and we're involved for anything mainly to do with strategic airlift for New Zealand. Yeah.
So what's the role of this aircraft, and this 757 here? It's, what the capabilities of the aircraft?
Okay, so mainly we're just moving passengers and freight. However, we can be used in aeromedical evacuation, disaster relief. So if we ever have cyclones hitting the islands, it's very common that we go into the Pacific and help them out, and also to help out any other allied nations as well. Yeah.
Oh, cool. The aircraft itself, the 757, it's the 200 series, as we discussed earlier. What are the differences between this and the passenger variant?
Okay, so the difference is basically that we can completely change the entire fit of the aircraft. So we can have it fully set it up for seating, or we can completely palletise the entire aircraft, or we can essentially turn it into a hospital by having each pallet in its own medical area.
Cool. And your journey over to Riyadh then for the show, was that, did you stop anywhere on the way, or was it one hit from straight across from New Zealand?
No, we stop over a few places, which is great. We stopped via Darwin and Malaysia and Dubai, so yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So flying the aircraft itself, then I'm guessing that because it hasn't got some of these other sort of add-ons that a lot of the military aircraft have, this handles fairly similar to the passenger version.
Yes, yeah. There's nothing in that way modified to the aircraft. It's as per. Yeah.
So the engines on the aircraft behind us, then, because a lot of the 75s had the RB211s, the Rolls-Royce. The engines on this aircraft are different.
Yeah. So this is E4B modelled engines. So a little bit more grunt to them, producing all up 43,000 pounds of thrust. So yeah, no, it's good.
Because the 75, a lot of the listeners will know, they kind of call it the pocket rocket. It's a really overpowered aircraft, I think some will say.
Yeah. The power to weight ratio of the 75 is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it feels like a rocket ship.
So is it it's like flying a fighter jet as such?
I'm not sure about the fighter jet comment, but it definitely is a high-powered beast, and it is a lot of fun on lightweight takeoffs and so on. Yeah.
Oh, great. So your career then, how did things start for you, Toby, within the Royal New Zealand Air Force? How did it all start?
Okay, so I was originally in Otago University in Dunedin, and I was studying physics there, and I managed to wander into the local recruiting office in Dunedin, and one thing led to another. Ended up joining the Air Force, becoming a pilot, and been in for about 8 years now. Yeah, it's been great.
Oh, cool. What aircraft are you rated or type rated on? Is there any other aircraft you fly within the force?
So I'm purely dedicated to flying the 757. However, I did my training on a air trainer, and then we also trained on a B200 King Air. I flew the King Air for about 4 years, and then I did a short conversion onto a Hercules C-130, and now here I'm on the Boeing 75.
So what's your favourite then between the two, the C-130 and the 75? Come on.
Definitely the 75. It's just a great beast. Gets places a lot faster. Absolute pleasure to fly. Love it. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm guessing you guys have got all the same kind of amenities that you get on board. You know, you've got somewhere to cook some food and stuff on board the aircraft as you would do on the passenger version.
Yeah. So we've got our lovely stewards working for us and always cooking up a good meal. And they're top job. They're really good.
Great. So the future for you then, Toby, what do you see for the future for yourself within the force?
At this stage, I'm just looking at continuing in the Air Force. Potentially going to become an instructor shortly in the years to come. And we do our new pilot training is now done on a Texan T6. So it'll be exciting to get on that aircraft and see where I go from there. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So for the listeners as such as well, we always ask the same question when we do an interview at the air shows, and it's the question we always ask the pilots. And if you could fly any aircraft, whether it's flying still or retired, in the world, what would you most love to have the chance to fly?
Well, that's a hard one. Put me on the spot here, but I guess if I had only one choice...
I know it's a tough one. It catches everyone out all the time.
Probably the Spitfire. I would want the Spitfire. That would be my absolute top aircraft to fly around in. Yeah.
That's quite amazing, because the guys over in the RAAF, over on the Voyager, on the A330, same answer.
Really? Oh, well, there you go. It's a common interest, I guess. It's a beautiful aircraft. Sounds absolutely awesome. I can't wait to see it flying.
Great. So, well, Toby, Mercer, thank you ever so much for your time on the Plane Talking UK podcast today. It's been great to talk to you, and enjoy the rest of your show, and we wish you a safe flight home.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Take care. Bye.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that little interview there we done at Riyadh. That was really, I enjoyed doing that, and you enjoyed filming it, didn't you, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Did you enjoy editing that as well?
No, I didn't. No, but anyway, hey, it was all beautifully in sync. That's all that matters.
Yeah, Matt.
To say, if you're listening to the podcast, obviously by the normal channels, if you download it on iTunes or whatever, it is worth, if you get the chance, just to take to YouTube. Because as I say, we try something new with all our interviews this year at the two air shows that we went to, which was Farnborough and Riyadh. And we actually sort of had a go at videoing it as well. And I must say, I'm really pleased with the results. It does definitely add something. So if you do get the chance, please take yourself to YouTube. I will, when we've played them out as part of our films, I will make them available as individual interviews, and I'll probably do a compilation episode for over Christmas, but with our interviews from
and our main man Micah, he's got himself one of the programs from Riyadh, which we donated to Micah, didn't we? Because we had two programs.
Oh, that's right. From Riyadh
this year.
Yeah, because we got one each. Didn't we?
We got one each.
Yeah, so we've got one for our records, and
we got one for Micah because we thought Micah would like a nice program from Riyadh this year. So yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, so hopefully you
two
are
more to come,
enjoying
though.
two more to come from Riyadh, and then we move on to Farnborough. We've got some great segments. I can't wait. Talking of the main man, the legend that is Micah, I've got a great segment a couple of segments that I just cannot wait to edit and put together. Where they're sort of talking me through some of the static displays at Farnborough, and that was a really magical Saturday that I spent. Now what was Micah's favourite craft again that we saw there?
The PBY.
The PBY.
Catalina.
Yeah, as I say, we got a great rare interview with them as well, so I really can't wait. But it's, as I say, we're having a go at, because that was one of the comments that we picked up last year when we were doing the interviews, is because it was we weren't really doing video when we went last year. We just sort of started, so hopefully if you are enjoying the video element to these, as I say,
which has helped. By our Patreons, don't forget.
Yeah, very much so,
it's all you guys and girls that donate via Patreon.
That's
the reason
we
can we have the various bits of equipment and software that allow me and Matt to do the audio and video stuff as well. So thanks for that.
Absolutely. Anyway, I think it's time to do some military.
Bit of spot of military news.
Yes.
So are you ready to go?
You just give me one moment.
Okay,
yes, I am ready to go.
Ready to go? Right, let's go.
Yeah.
So our first news story on the military segment this week on Flight Global site, and it's regarding an aircraft that we saw at Riyadh this year. It's the MRTT, the A330 MRTT, multi-role transport tanker. So the Netherlands and Luxembourg, the headline, agree to a joint A330 MRTT buy. So the multinational initiative to acquire a pooled fleet of aircraft, A330 multi-role tanker transports, has edged closer to takeoff, with the Netherlands and Luxembourg agreeing to buy an initial 2 examples together. Agreed with Airbus on the 28th of July this week, contract via the OCCAR defence procurement body. The acquisition is the first part of a potentially broader activity being pursued by the European Defence Agency and several other nations. Final arrangements are to be made in the coming weeks for the completion of the financial and the financial process, resulting in a formal order to Airbus Defence and Space. This will include also an initial 2-year package of service support additions to the deal as well. The Netherlands, the lead for nation for the programme, values the acquisition at between 250 million and 1 billion euros, which is around about $277 million, depending on the number of additional participants. Airbus says the addition of Belgium and Germany, Norway and Poland could eventually increase the size of the NATO-assigned multinational MRTT fleet to 8 aircraft. Deliveries of the lead A330s for the Netherlands and Luxembourg will occur during 2020, so a few more years as yet, with the type expected to have the service life of around 30 years. What's in this tea, Matt, you've made here?
Magical tea, yes.
The pooled fleet, equipped with a boom and hose and drogue refuelling systems, will be operated via from its Eindhoven air base, the home of the European Air Transport Command. The ministry describes the planned purchase as an important contribution in addressing the scarce tanker and transport capability of the EU in particular. It will also replace the Royal Netherlands Air Force's current 2 McDonnell Douglas KDC-10 tankers, one which we went on board that last year at Riyadh, and that was where we left our the camera lenses and camera equipment on board, if you remember, Matt.
Yeah, that's right.
As part of the MMF initiative, the Netherlands says it is also examining the potential of a collaboration with France and the UK, among others, in relation to training and instruction, as well as maintenance of the A330's military derivative. And we'll put a little picture there. Matt can quickly whip that on the screen for those of you in the YouTube screen. You'll be able to see there a little photo there of the transport there refueling in midair. Looks, as you all know, it looks very, very similar to the passenger variant, just in grey, and with a huge refueling boom at the rear of the aircraft. But it's good to see plenty of airlines picking up on these as being a good air tanker.
Definitely. Yes.
Next story.
From that to another picture story then, and the headline when it wakes up, there we go, is pictures the first flight for Israel's F-35A.
Israel.
A deer. There we go. So I'm going to try and do this. It's always a bit difficult when it's a picture story and I'm the one pressing the button, so I'll do my best. But here we go. So it's Lockheed Martin have completed the first flight of an F-35A, a deer, for the Israeli Air Force on the 25th of July, just 1 month after rolling the aircraft out at the Fort Worth site in Texas on the 22nd of June. So I'll just bring that video up, the picture up very, very quickly there. So the first of the service's 33 conventional takeoff and landing F-35As on order, the aircraft AS-1 underwent a successful check flight, Lockheed says. Israel's first 2 F-35As, the AS-1 and the AS-2, are scheduled to arrive at their airbase on the 12th of December. Sorry.
You're right,
well, this is the trouble when I'm doing the pictures and stuff. So on the 12th of December, where they will be used to support initial pilot training activities. Now, some more pictures there. I'm not even going to try and... Oh, no, that is the end of the story. So I will try and bring you up. So there's a couple of cracking photos. Couple of cracking photos there. It is a stunning-looking aircraft, isn't it?
No, we've seen this up close and personal.
Absolutely.
At Riyadh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Is that the one that was the compound at the end of the runway? Is that what
yes,
we were looking at?
That's the one that they kind of had the armed guards and everything.
That was a bit
around,
scary. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was all a bit terrifying.
So moving on to our next story on the... When it loads up again.
Yeah,
It's being slow today.
I don't
mate.
know. I think
the CNN
we're using
politics.
Oh,
we're using
dear.
too much bandwidth.
Yeah,
here.
we are. We're using all of it. Yes.
This is a news story that popped up. Actually, it popped up on the 29th, which was... wow, that was only yesterday? Was it 29th yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the 30th today, yeah.
Yeah, the 29th. This is yesterday. This one came up on the news feeds. And the headline, US military plane makes emergency landing on a Russian airstrip.
Now that's a terrifying story, isn't it?
Okay. So the story then, the story goes, at the same time that the political tensions between Washington and Moscow were raging this week, US and Russia calmly handled the emergency landing of a US military aircraft in western Siberia, according to the Pentagon. The incident occurred on Wednesday when the landing gear of a US observation flight malfunctioned and the plane had to make an unplanned landing in a Russian airstrip near the Chinese border.
Oh dear.
The OC-135B observation aircraft had taken off from a Russian airfield at Ulan-Ude for a scheduled observation flight conducted under the terms of the Open Skies Treaty. The treaty allows both countries to fly unarmed observation aircraft over each other's territory. The flights are intended to be confidence-building measures and are subject to provisions for openness and transparency on the information being collected via cameras and other sensors. On the mission, the US aircraft with Russian observers on board took off to start its designated observation flight plan, but the aircraft's landing gear did not retract. The US commander, in cooperation with the Russian escort crew on board, diverted the aircraft to Nabrovsk. There we go. So the aircraft could exit Russia in the most direct route possible. Pentagon spokeswoman Lieutenant Colonel Michelle L. Baldanza told CNN, due to aircraft performance limitations associated with summer temperatures and landing gear malfunction, the Khabovsk runway represented the only safe location to land. The airfield is not normally used under the treaty for US aircraft to exit out of Russia. The Russian onboard crew verified that no imagery was collected during the flight, and the aircraft then flew on to Japan, where it was being repaired. The Pentagon was adamant that this was not a spy mission because all portions of the flight and sensor equipment on board are open to Russians to observe.
Right. Okay. So it's not perhaps quite as scary a story as it sort of appears on the front of it. Then perhaps.
Yeah. That was quite an interesting story to have really come up in the news feeds. Because we're always having these issues with the Russians coming over here to say hello.
Yeah.
And,
Jacob just said in the chat room there, where would you rather land, Russia or China?
Well, you got more chance of making snowballs in Russia, so
right. Okay.
I like snowballs.
Right. Well, fair enough.
Yeah, we don't get enough snow in the UK.
No, we don't get snow, as you quite often said. All we get in this country is snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last story. This is a good story for those of you who love your military aircraft and have lots and lots of money in the bank.
Right. Okay. Paul's off, by the way. Bye, Paul Tricker.
Goodbye, Paul.
Yeah. Tamaru Man, is that right? Tomorrow Man. Sorry, I'm on the wrong camera, aren't I? Yes. Tomorrow Man puts one of two L-29 former military jets up for sale. He might trade for a boat and a wife. Well, there we are.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an unusual approach. So this is the Tamaru. Is it Tamaru? I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I want to say the Tamaru. Timaru or the Tomorrow Herald. Okay, we'll get emails about that now. So Rob Young wants to sell his L-29 jet aircraft. He also wants a boat and a wife. The Claremont Man recently listed one of his two Czech-built former military aircraft on TradeMe for $179,000. Or very near offer. The listing has attracted more than 128,000 views, but Young said genuine interest was very low. I get the odd person inquiring, but they're not serious. One person asked me if I wanted to swap it for a Ford Zephyr. Right. He laughed. Young, who is a self-proclaimed shy, sensitive salesman with an association with property management, bought his first L-29 in 2008 and his second in 2011. The aircraft are identical and are two of just 5 in New Zealand. He doesn't hold a pilot's license himself, yourself, so there is no need. So why did you buy them then? Anyway, you don't have to have a license to own a plane. There's plenty of pilots who come out of the woodwork to fly jets. They just queue up to fly them, which I'm not surprised about. With a top speed of 800 kilometres per hour and a maximum pull of 8 Gs. That's quite a big high number, isn't it? The jet aircraft are not for the faint-hearted or cash-strapped. It costs a hell of a lot of money to run them. There's a surprise. The jet uses around 1,000 litres of aviation fuel an hour at a cost of around about $32 a minute. Oh, that's not too bad. Oh. As both the jets are approved for adventure flights in New Zealand, Young said that any future owner could potentially charge $100 a minute for rides at events like the popular Warbirds over Wanaka. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing all these New Zealand names incorrectly. It could take up to a dozen people in one day, and it will run for at least another 20 years. Young was philosophical about letting one of his jets go, saying that there was no need to have two. Having two is a bit of a mission. It's like having two wives, he joked. Oh dear. Jokes aside, Young said that he would like to see the jet go to an enthusiast who would continue to showcase it at air shows. If it didn't sell, it could be destined for a museum, he said. Young's fascination with planes won't fade away anytime soon. He's just looking for other things to keep him busy. You could say, I'm looking at some other planes, but I'm also looking for a boat and a wife.
So the L29 then, we had some videos of these sent in by Ray Davis actually a while back.
Yes,
we had them on the show. The L29 then first flew 1959, brought into service in 1961, flew with the Soviet Air Force, the Czechoslovak Air Force and the Bulgarian Air Force. And they built 3,500 of these aircraft, so quite a few.
Right, yeah.
He's got this up for sale then for 179,000 New Zealand dollars, Matt, which equates in pounds to £97,500.
It's not actually as much as you'd think.
97,500.
I don't know. That seems quite good value. That seems quite good value. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, we could sort of, strap together and buy one, I suppose. I don't know what we'd do with it, but
well, indeed, yeah, absolutely.
We could give it to Stuart to fly. I mean,
can he fly, Jack?
He'd definitely pull an HG in there.
One of those?
Not quite, but I mean, it can't be that different to flying a 208 Caravan.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. No speed difference at all, really. I can't see what could possibly go wrong there. Yes. Anyway, on that bombshell, it's time to bring the military section to a close. Yeah, and indeed the show.
Yeah, we've got a lot of bits and pieces coming up in the future. We've got, like I said, we've got some interviews coming up later on in the year from what we've taken at the various air shows, the two air shows, Farnborough and Riyadh. We've got this year.
Yeah, we've got two more from Riyadh.
Riyadh to come,
and we've got
lots from Farnborough. We've got lots of ones from Farnborough coming up. Yeah,
as I say, it's one of the aircraft that we were looking at. And as I think I can't remember if I said this last week, but we were walking back to the media tent for tea and cakes, weren't we? And for the first time ever, there was a display going on, and I literally stopped in my tracks to watch the A380 going through its. And it is genuinely the first time that I've literally stopped in the middle of what I was doing and actually been blown away by a display. I mean, it really did knock me for six. And the lovely Captain Al talked me through sort of what it was doing and how it was doing it, because the thing was flying so slowly. I just got all I could hear in my head was pull up, pull up. But apparently it wasn't doing that. But anyway, that's something to look forward to. Captain Al talks us through that. Some great video to go with that as well, hopefully.
So our next air show that me and Matt will be going to will probably we were going to try and make Old Buckingham tomorrow, but I don't think we'll make that because I'm busy. But we've got Seething coming up, our local air show, Seething at Charity Air Day on Sunday, September the 4th, which is not far from where we are here. So if anyone in the area or in the UK at all are around on the 4th of September, that's on a Sunday. We're going to be attending the Seething Charity Air Day. There's loads of aircraft lined up for the display there, including the Blades with their extra 300 aircraft, 4 of those. But me and Matt will hopefully will be there for that Sunday. Hopefully the weather will be good to us on the day.
Yeah, he's hoping.
Right, so we're going to wrap up then the show. Don't forget you can contact the show via our website. If you go to allthews.planetalking.com, UK.com.
You ought to know that by now.
I know.
Blimey, yeah.
Plain spelt Plane, so that's plaintalkinguk.com. Go on there and click on the contact tab, and you can send us some feedback on there.
Email. Yeah, okay. We don't put our email address directly on there. That's just to stop spammers and robots and things from picking up. But obviously, if you're listening to this, then you are more than welcome to get in touch with us and to email us directly. It is podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. You'll find us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/plaintalkinguk. And on Twitter, our Twitter handle is @plaintalkinguk.
Yep, so catch up with all the news and bits and pieces during the week that me and Matt post on there for the show. And don't forget, as we said at the beginning of this show, next week's going to be slightly different because we are going to have a kind of 1 and 2 part show. One, we're going to do our interview with our guest on Saturday morning, and for the first half of the show. And then on the Sunday, we're going to do, hopefully, fingers crossed, a live link up with Nev and all our wonderful listeners over at Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport.
Absolutely.
On there. And also not forgetting as well our website. We've just updated the website with all the pictures that we took from Riyadh and Farnborough this year. So if you go to the website, www.plaintalkinguk.com, and click on the gallery, you'll find loads of the pictures that we took from the 2 air shows, including all the photos we took from the APG meetup as well. And they're all there, so you can go on there and view those.
Plaintalking.com, so it's plaintalkinguk.com/gallery. If you want to have a look at those, and it's actually the top headline. But there we are, Captain Al in the back of the van.
There's an interesting photograph of Captain Al in the back of the TriStar van.
Absolutely.
And also the ice cream.
The infamous ice cream incidences, yes, that was really quite terrifying. There's some great photos there.
There's some great photos.
There's Micah and that busy enjoying an ice cream, and then there's the whole team. Look,
there we go. Look, wonderful. For those who listen to the audio part of this, you'll not. Oh, and Captain Jeff in the TriStar van. Look
so if you are listening on the audio version of the show, it is www.plaintalkinguk.com/gallery, and that's where you'll find lots of. That was you being interviewed at the radio station, wasn't it? You even got on there.
Me and Micah got interviewed by Farnborough Airshow Radio.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool it was too. Anyway, enough of this.
We need to get going.
We're going to bring episode number 123
to a close.
124, as I say, will be in 2 parts next weekend. So
it will only be 1 episode.
We only will be on 1 episode, but it's being recorded over 2 days for reasons we explained earlier. Fantastic. We will see you all then for episode number 124.
So to everyone in the chat room, thank you very much for joining us this morning. All you lot in there, been a fantastic audience as always, and thank you for joining us and watching us, and being wonderful.
Being part of the show.
And to everyone who downloads the audio show, we really do appreciate you guys downloading the show. I know that there's a few of the guys that I work with who listen to the show. Special mention to Jason Rowe, who listens to the show. I know Rowie listens to the show. And also to Matty Caton. I know Matt listens to the show as well. So good on you guys. Nice to hear some support from the good old Clays.
Oh dear. There we go. Anyway, on that bombshell, it is time to say goodbye. We will see you next week. As I say, watch our Twitter and Facebook feeds. We'll post what times we're going live, as I say, but it's actually taking place over 2 days, so you've got no excuse. You can be in the chat room for both days.
Saturday
or Sunday, whichever. I think it's going to be around, I think at the moment it's going to be 10 a.m. on
10 a.m.
Saturday and 10 a.m. Sunday as well. But we will see you all next week. From all of us here in the studio, it is goodbye.
Bye.